for something to fail is nothing new for hardcore fans. Whether it's a sports dynasty that you can't stand because they win too much, or it's a trilogy of films that you think ended in a way that wasn't really what you wanted, defending something you love can be really challenging. Hi, I'm Eric, welcome to Utini, and today we're talking about the challenge of defending the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy completely revitalized my love of Star Wars. It was amazing witnessing the resurgence of Star Wars movies back into the mainstream where they found critical and financial success. However, that success was met with a crazy level of vitriol from people who despised the sequels. So much so that when I started to ask YouTube for a little bit of research about this, they suggested a suicide hotline rather than diving further into this topic. But the years went on, and this toxic group became pretty easy to avoid. You know, my passion stayed the same. They kept screaming out into the void, but then the trilogy ended in a way I didn't exactly expect, and I felt this shift start to happen. The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi were basically perfect to me. But then The Rise of Skywalker came out, and the fandom began to fracture. I began questioning things. Kind of like when a sports dynasty that's been around for a bit too long decides to falter. Let's just say the Star Wars community felt a bit shaky. And as I started to wrestle with these feelings about this thing that I had loved and created my identity around for years, I began to worry that I was going to fall into that group of really toxic people. I mean, I wasn't one of them, was I? I didn't really know how to balance these new feelings. But I knew one thing for sure. I had to get away from the noise, reset, go back to the beginning, and actually listen to my own thoughts.
It's a brand new day. Hey. Take a good day, make it great, okay?
When The Force Awakens first came out, I fell in love with Star Wars all over again. As a prequel kid, obviously I loved the movies, but now as an adult, I was falling really in love with the characters, the worlds, and honestly, the merch. To put it plainly, I was obsessed. And this obsession helped me find a community, helped me find belonging. It straight up changed my life.
Gotta just celebrate. It's gonna be A-okay.
My obsession only grew with the release of The Last Jedi. But as Snoke says, darkness rises and the light to meet it, right? Except this was the opposite. The lightness and the love grew so hard that this amazing darkness and toxicity grew to equal it. I mean, it felt like the Brady-era Patriots, where everyone was looking at this one very successful dynasty and they wanted nothing more than for it to be destroyed. Now, because success breeds resentment, all this had to go away eventually, right? Well, not so much. The hatred towards the sequels was intense. And while some of it may have started in a valid place, a lot of it came from really dirty parts of the internet. There was sexism and racism, misogyny. But on the bright side, it was pretty easy to distance yourselves from those kind of toxic fans, while the rest of us focused on one thing only, the last movie, and the hype was higher than ever. The energy leading up to the Rise of Skywalker premiere was exhilarating. The haters were disappearing, the enjoyment and excitement was at an all-time high. It was the best time there had ever been to be a Star Wars fan. And then the movie came out, and I couldn't help but feeling a little bit disappointed. The movie had its issues for me, you know, and I didn't want to fall into that toxic crowd that I had been fighting for so many years. So was it still possible for me to even express those concerns? Was it even possible for me to find balance? In the end, I simply had to get away from the noise. You know, being part of a fan community is an amazing thing. You know, you get to share experience with others, you really feel like you're part of something. But the downside is that it can be hard to separate your own thoughts from the opinions of others. I was so worried that I was going to be falling into toxicity, or that I wasn't living up to the hype that I had promised other people, that I really lost track of my own thoughts and my own opinions, which is insane. So that's what I did. I took a step back and really considered what I was defending against. I could always be against things like the bigotry, the vitriol, the hatred, while still being true to myself and my passions. So I did. So where does that put me in my journey of defending the sequel trilogy? Well, basically, I just have to know what I'm defending against. Am I defending against my own opinions, my own thoughts, my own mind? No. But am I defending against idiots, bigots, and people who want to put vitriol into the things I love? Every single day. There will always be a difference between valid critique and blind hatred. So embrace the rivalries, accept the flaws in the things you love, pick your battles, but stay true to who you are. Trust me, the noise gets a lot quieter once you do. And may the force be with you.